Thank you all for being here, first of all. Some of the band ambassadors, it's okay if they take the jackets off, if it's a bit warm, so you know some can't, but yes you can. Yeah, you can. So, I know, because it gets really dark in my shirt, I don't know why. Now, we opened there with a fantastic match we described this morning as an absolute banger. So that was True and Trusty by Greenwood. It's a really, really cool march. It's got a really nice tune, like lots of bass, and you get loads of tunes. Thank you for coming today. Next Sunday, we're going to go and play for a guy I think he might be sat in the box. As in, because that's where they adjudicate from, so they can't see him. He's actually not so that'll be a bit awkward. And so, by the afternoon, we'll know if they've been listening beautifully and wonderfully and they're very musical, or if they didn't listen to anything that we played and they haven't got a clue what we're doing. We won't listen to any of the bands because then we can really comment on if we were robbed or not. That's the best way to do it. So what will happen is we're going to play the first half. We figured that to get you to come to play just two pieces to you was really unfair. So we're going to play the first half, and then we'll have an interval, buy loads of raffle tickets, that'll be great. And then when we come back, we're going to start really oddly. We're going to start with a hymn, because that's what we have to do. So we have to go on stage and play, in effect, basically chorals. So we'll play a hymn, and then we'll play the testes for you, and then we've got some other pieces to play as well. So our next piece we're going to play is a classic from the band. It's sold 20 million in worldwide sales. It won the best original score at the Oscars to Disney film. Beforehand, Aladdin was the one before, and Pocahontas was the one after, so they had quite a good run of films. So this is music from The Lion King. So we're going to move on and play a piece of music by Evelyn Glennie, really, really famous percussionist. Originally she wrote this as a marimba solo. She called it she didn't call it that at all. She called it a marimba chorale, which is much easier for her to say. A chorale is just a posh word for a hymn tune. So basically she wrote this as a hymn tune, and it's a beautiful piece of music. It's been rearranged for loads of stuff. So solo piano, mixed voices, it's rearranged for David Childs to play with Black Dyke as well. So David Childs is the son of one of the Childs brothers, Bob Childs, yeah. So Bob and Nick, really, really famous brothers, and the son, works in America now, he's like an unbelievable player. And also, this piece of music features on branded goods, such as mugs from Evelyn Glennie's website. This is what I found out today as well. So this is called A Little Prayer. I think it's a beautiful piece of music, like some really nice, I think it's really nice playing in the band, but there's quite a lot of contrast within it, and they happen quite quickly, so it's quite a difficult piece to play. Often, what you hear as an audience member, that like the simplest music is actually the hardest to play nicely, so I really like that. We're going to move on quite a lot, so we're going to move to 1995, and we're going to play this particular album. The frontman of the band is now 62, which was quite so we're going to play a piece by Fogg. This was from their band's 5th studio album, A Different Class, which is probably their biggest album that made the biggest difference for them. They've now brought out 8 albums, and Jarvis Cocker has gone on to be a really quite well-renowned BBC Radio 6 music presenter and things like that as well. This song, at first came out, only reached number 7 in the UK, but this is Disco 2000. So I had to put my music in the plastic wallet and I realised it was really quiet and she hurry up, and that made me go slow. Not something difficult to do, I really love that piece. I think when arrangers look at pop music, you've got a bit of a problem, particularly with the basses. A lot of like that Britpop stuff, I've got called octave basses, bass lines. So the basses at that opening had to play this like insane for ages. I think it's really, really cool. So, and I felt really bad partway through because I said it only reached number 7, and I wanted to make it clear that all the pieces that I've written had never reached number 7. And I was really unkind. So, I went to see Pulp in 1999, was supported by a group called the Eels, who did something on Shrek, and it was really cool. And they played that song, and just before they played that song, it was at the Doncaster Dome. I grew up in Doncaster. Yeah, not great. But they spoke a lot about. He said, Doncaster Dome. It's not even the Doncaster box. This he didn't like it. He was from Sheffield, and they don't always get on. It's not about the brother and the book. So now we're going to move on. We're going to play some of the music that we did for the National Youth Championships last year. And we were meant to, it was a bit of an odd story, going around the world gambling. I don't quite know how or why that came into mind. And it starts off with Poker Face, which was from the 2008 debut album by Lady Gaga. And then it moves partway through, so we could get away with it to South America. It goes to a piece by Astor Piazzolla, written in 1974, called Libertango. And I want to find out a bit more about what Libertango meant. So it's a portmanteau. And they put together Libertad, which means liberty, and tango. And this was because this was his first piece of music, where he moved from classical tango to tango nuevo, the new tango. So it's a bit like when Bob Dylan got electric guitar and stuff, I think. So this is Poker Face. We're going to move on to Spike's favourite piece. So Spike has favourite pieces. Spike told me earlier on today, because he likes to please me about me getting on. He said, do you know, this is the 15th year that we'll have played through and Trusty together. So that was nice, so thanks. So, he loves The Incredibles. It's not his favourite film. It is mine, yeah, it is mine. So it is one of my favourite films. So yeah, I like the second one as well, which is unusual because normally, you know. So this is from 2004. The music's written by a guy called Michael Giacchino, who writes loads of really cool stuff. And he wanted to try and, when he wrote it, he wanted to be inspired a bit by James Bond films, because that's kind of what The Incredibles does, but also try and mix it together with like really big band music as well. And it features some absolutely stunning players, Louis Dowdeswell and Wayne Bergeron, who's like an insane trumpet player, but he plays nice, he plays stringy stuff which can hurt your ears, but he does it really well and controlled, but he also plays some really cool stuff. It's a really good Oh Holy Night on YouTube. If you go on to like Wayne Bergeron Oh Holy Night, I'm like only doing December obviously. And he plays on there, it's absolutely stunning playing, like really cool. So this is music from The Incredibles. I like that. So our next piece of music is a piece of music that whenever I say its title, like Jack in particular gets really excited. Jack, you like this piece, right? Yeah, oh yeah, he likes this one. And because we played a concert not that long ago, I'm trying my best to change pieces around because I'm well aware that you guys get to hear similar pieces. Like, so I think you've heard Lion King about 963 times. So, so I tried to change the order around, but I haven't changed the order around. So I tried to instead to think about different things I could say about the piece. So I couldn't. So instead I found out about Alan Fernie. So Alan Fernie is quite a prolific arranger and composer, and he does stuff for every level of handling, which is really, really great. So I think he writes some really, really nice stuff. And I found out that he started to learn the trombone at 12. And I thought it was quite a nice story. So his parents kept asking him to join the band, and he says, I don't want to. I don't want to join the band. And then at 12, his dad had a mining accident, and so he thought, I'll try and cheer your dad up. I'll go and play the trombone, which I thought was really nice. So I think he cheered his dad up, I don't know. And then ever since then, obviously it's been his whole life, so it's like interesting how unfortunately somebody can make something quite good for somebody else. So this is Stal Himmel, which translates to Steel Skies by Alan Fernie. So we're going to raffle ticket buying time. So we're going to play this piece and then we're going to go and lie down and get a nice bath outside. And so if you could buy lots of raffle tickets that day. We're going to play a piece of music. So Alan Fernie is kind of, I guess he was kind of like classed as a more like modern set of arrangers and composers. And before that, a lot of them kind of referred to this guy called Doc Richards, who wrote loads and loads of stuff. So some of you will have heard pieces like Dorian, he arranged the horn solo, Rainbow, Barnard Castle, loads and loads of like really good pieces of music for family. So he was a Cornishman originally. He was made a doctor in 1990 for his work, particularly with Salford and Salford University. And there, he did loads of stuff with different ensembles, so like he did stuff with tunes as well, where he took their choirs to places and like London and everything. With Salford, he took the university to win the BBC Big Band, University BBC Big Band of the Year competition in 1989. So kind of showed like the different styles that he was able to do really well in. So he wrote this piece called Trailblaze, and so this was Trailblaze. some discontent amongst the ranks, talking about their lips, how their lips have gone. How that's very difficult. Yes, my arm. That's much worse. Push it along. I tell you, you get cramp here, it's awful. Cramp is nothing worse. I tell you. Now we're going to play another hymn. I really like this hymn. So it's called Manchester, and so I can't remember if I've told this before, but I've told the band before, but they used to hear the story several times. It was originally written by Green Bright, but then it was arranged by a guy called Andy Cook. So Andy Cook plays tuba, the band. There we go. And I know Andy. Andy used to go out with his sister. Yes. But he really likes tunes. So the first time I ever met him, he'd come round for tea at our house. And I sat down and he said, "So man, what's your favourite hymn in the Red Book?" So I didn't know what to say, I was a bit taken aback. So I actually said Whitburn, which is quite strange. But anyway, he's a nice guy. This is beautiful, I think. So this is the hymn tune Manchester. come on to our last piece. Band training for the audience. Some real disappointment. So, I mean, if you really, really like what we do, then we do actually have 2 extra tonight. Because I've actually put one out just so we finish relatively on time. It's unusual for me. So, we're going to play this song from 2004. It's by a band that was formed in 2001, an American rock band. Brandon Flowers, Dave Groening, Ronnie Vernucci Jr. and Mark Stormer, and try and make sure you write on the table next time you write things on the front of the score so you can read the names. And it's the story of trying to meet somebody for the first time in a club and get their attention. This is we're just finding a piece over here. It says on this piece to keep smiling, so I'll do that. Okay, off we go. There. Yes. So, some of the band light, please. So, we're going to play You Can't Stop the Beat from Hairspray. I just want to finish by saying a massive thank you to the club, obviously, for hosting us today. Les, when I got here earlier, Leslie said people aren't happy with you. I said, Leslie, can't get on with me. And she said, oh, United are right. That's not my fault, it's the Premier League's fault. So any issues, then please take it to the Premier League and so no, it's alright, it's alright. How are we getting on? We're alright? Oh, that's alright. How long's left? Okay, so a massive thank you to you guys for coming out. Like I said again, it's not that long ago, so thanks for coming again, and I hope we played enough different pieces as well. And a massive thank you to the family. We've worked really, really hard since January, particularly looking at the Phileas Fogg piece as well, but to then come together and have like an hour today just to try and make sure we have other things as well that we can play and play nicely as well. So they're an absolute pleasure to work with. So this is when You Can't Stop the Beat.